Hi everyone. So this past week we began our journey into the world of nonprofit organizations, and our discussion has centered on this multifaceted expectation of leaders to balance multiple priorities. The two main ones being what our Worth textbook calls the double bottom line. That is, the social mission and the financial bottom line. We'll revisit that concept in just a few moments, but I want to first focus our attention on the Drucker book, Managing the Nonprofit Organization. As you're reading, this book is a collection of topics specifically for leaders in nonprofit organizations, given from the perspective of some very notable people in the nonprofit field. I encourage you to read this text while reflecting on your own journey of leadership. Chapter 1, titled The Commitment, asks us to consider the qualities of a leader. And one of the most important qualities is that of defining the mission of the organization. Mission, and sometimes in organizational circles this is interchanged with the word vision, though technically they are different, is the driving force, the raison d'etre, the sole purpose why leaders do what they do in nonprofits. It's what gets them up in the morning, and having clarity around this is critical. Now in Chapter 1 of our Worth book, the author helps us understand what makes nonprofit organizations unique among all organizations. Using concepts from organizational literature, he makes the case that nonprofit organizations, by their very nature, need to be managed. That is, there is some business sense in leading these organizations. Yet, they are unique enough to be just a little different. One difference is that these organizations often rely on the support of outside stakeholders, donors and volunteers to be successful. Furthermore, having to balance the multiple perspectives that people, namely a board, brings is both a skill and an art. While everyone may agree on the fundamental mission of the organization, how they get there and the perspectives on an issue are often divergent. So what does a leader do, as nonprofits in reality are a much more complex system than for-profit organizations? That question I hope you will keep in the back of your mind as we go through this course, because the immediate answer is that there isn't one, or at least an easy one. Now going back to our double bottom line, the concept of balancing the mission and the money is something that really sets nonprofits apart from the rest. In the nonprofit world, think about what the mission is. Not just the immediate program or service that the organization takes part in, but the greater, more impactful one. Chances are that ultimately the mission is about transformation. It is about change, whether that's a changed life or a changed situation. Nonprofits are, in essence, social enterprises that do something a little more deep-rooted. Think of those nonprofits that you might be familiar with. At the center is a changed person, and how leaders balance that vision of a changed person against the financial management, if you will, is indeed a skill to be learned. I encourage you to take a look at and consider the questions for discussion at the end of the chapter, which can help us delve deeper into what makes nonprofit organizations unique. Though it's early, I also encourage you to start thinking about your first paper, which will be due in a few weeks. It's really about thinking through the vast universe of nonprofit organizations and exploring how they are such a complex system comprised of different individuals, each with their unique role. Next week, our module will explore the history of the nonprofit sector in the United States and beyond. We'll delve into greater detail about the economic and social impacts of the sector, and even ask you to come up with an example of a nonprofit organization that interests you. That will be a great discussion. Socrates once said, "The secret of change is to focus all your energy not on fighting the old, but on building the new." Nonprofit organizations lie at the center of change, and learning to lead in this world is one of the greatest journeys you can be on. So let's wrap up this week's discussion as I look forward to your thoughts. As always, I'm available for your questions, comments, and concerns, so don't hesitate to contact me. That's all for now, and I'll see you online.